Your words are not just sounds, they are signals that shape the direction of your life. Every sentence you speak has energy, intention, and impact. The truth is, the words that come out of your mouth are building the world you live in right now. You can trace every success, every failure, every blessing, and every setback back to something that was once spoken by you or about you. Words are the architects of destiny. When you speak, you give form to your thoughts, and those thoughts begin to manifest in your actions, your habits, and ultimately your results. Most people don't realize that they are constantly creating with their mouths. They talk about what they don't want, and then they wonder why they keep getting more of it. They speak fear and frustration into their lives, then complain that nothing ever changes. But the truth is, nothing will change until your language does. Your words are creative power disguised as conversation, right? If you listen closely to highly successful people, you'll notice they speak differently. They don't say if it works, they say when it works. They don't say I can't afford it, they say how can I afford it? That shift in language isn't just positivity, it's positioning. Every time you say something, your subconscious mind listens and takes orders. When you speak limitation, you train your mind to stop looking for solutions. When you speak possibility, you give your mind permission to create opportunities. The power of your words is that they direct your focus, and your focus determines your future. What you repeatedly say becomes what you subconsciously expect, and what you expect is what you eventually experience. You are literally framing your reality with your vocabulary, no? So many people think they have a money problem, a confidence problem, or a people problem, but most of the time it's a mouth problem. They say things like, nothing ever works out for me, I'm always broke, I can't catch a break, and then life delivers exactly that. The universe, your mind, and even your environment respond to the vibration of your words. You can't curse your life and expect it to be blessed. You can't keep speaking lack and expect abundance to find you. What you say out loud programs the atmosphere around you. That's why successful people are intentional with their language. They don't waste words on worry. They don't give power to their problems by repeating them. They speak solutions. They speak growth. They speak direction. They understand that their mouth is a magnet, and what it attracts depends on what it emits. Think about this. When you say I am, you're not just describing yourself, you're defining yourself. Every I am statement you make is a declaration of identity. If you say I am tired, you invite exhaustion. If you say I am capable, you invite confidence. Your words send instructions to your body, your emotions, and your mind. They align your internal world with your external reality. That's why it's so important to be mindful of the way you speak about yourself, your goals, your relationships, and your dreams. The moment you open your mouth, you are either affirming your potential or affirming your limitations. You can speak yourself into peace or speak yourself into pressure. You can speak yourself into purpose or speak yourself into paralysis. The words you say today are the seeds of the results you'll see tomorrow. Your words don't just express what you believe, they reinforce it. The more you say something, the stronger it becomes in your subconscious. When you say, I'm not good enough long enough, your brain stops trying. But when you say, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm becoming, your mind starts aligning with progress. The creative power of your words is that they are self-filling. You speak it, then you start seeing evidence of it, then you believe it more, then you speak it again, and that cycle keeps building. The question is, what kind of cycle are you building with your speech? Are you building one that leads to strength, confidence, and abundance, or one that keeps you stuck in doubt and defeat? Your words can either be weapons that wound you or tools that build you. The choice is made every time you open your mouth. There's something magnetic about confidence that comes from your own language. When you begin to speak with certainty about your goals, even before you see them, something inside you shifts. You begin to move differently, think differently, and attract differently. Your words become a prophecy, and your actions start to align with that prophecy. That's why it's important to guard your speech, especially in difficult seasons. When life gets tough, most people vent frustration with their words, not realizing they're multiplying the very energy they're trying to escape. Instead of saying, I can't handle this, say, I'm built for this. Instead of saying, this is too hard, instead of saying, this is too hard, say, too hard. This is too hard. This is preparing me. That single change in language transforms your entire emotional state. Your words give you either the fuel to keep moving or the weight to hold you back. Right? The creative force of your words is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing power even when things aren't. It's about acknowledging reality without surrendering to it. You can say, this is challenging, but I'm capable. You can say, I don't see the way yet, but the way exists. When you speak from a place of belief, you begin to change the frequency of your life. The right words have a way of attracting the right people, opportunities, and outcomes. The wrong words repel them. You don't need to be a poet or a preacher. You just need to be intentional. Speak like someone who expects their words to matter, because they do. Speak like someone who knows that every sentence carries the power to shape the story of their life. Your future is waiting for your voice to give it direction. Your vision is waiting for your language to give it life. Your success is waiting for your words to call it into existence. Most people spend their lives describing what they're going through instead of declaring where they're going. They wake up every day and use their words to repeat their current situation instead of using them to rewrite it. The truth is, your life doesn't move in the direction of your feelings. It moves in the direction of your declarations. If you only talk about what you see, you will keep seeing what you talk about. But when you start speaking what you expect, your words begin to lead your circumstances instead of being limited by them. There's a difference between describing reality and defining destiny. When you describe, you report what is. When you define, you create what will be. Most people talk about their pain, their problems, their lack, and their stress, and they don't realize that their mouth is keeping them docked, anchored to the very place they're trying to escape, right? When you speak what you expect, you give your vision a voice. You tell your future what to bring to you. The reason many people never rise is because their mouth is full of reminders instead of prophecies. They remind themselves of every mistake, every failure, every disappointment. But if you change your language, you change your life. When you speak expectation, you begin to reprogram your mind to look for opportunity instead of obstacles. Your words act like a compass, pointing your thoughts, emotions, and actions in the direction of what you repeatedly say. If you constantly talk about being stuck, your brain looks for evidence that you're stuck. But if you talk about growth, your mind begins to create pathways toward progress. What you say determines what your mind searches for. You can't build a better future by constantly talking about a broken past. Every time you relive your pain in your speech, you reinforce its power. The language of expectation is different. It speaks from vision, not from history. It doesn't ignore challenges. It just refuses to let them define the final chapter. When you speak expectation, you start to tell your circumstances who's in charge. You start to take your power back from the problems that once controlled your perspective. Instead of saying, I don't know how I'll make it, you say, I will find a way. Instead of saying, this always happens to me, you say, something new is happening for me. Those are not just words of motivation. They are words of direction. They command your energy to align with your intention. No? Most people underestimate the power of expectation because they confuse it with hope. Hope wishes things would change. Expectation knows they will. When you speak from expectation, you activate faith in motion, not the kind of faith that waits, but the kind that works. You stop waiting for evidence and start creating it. You stop reacting to your situation and start dictating it. This doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means using your words to construct a new one. You can't speak defeat and expect victory. You can't keep saying I'm broke and expect wealth. You can't keep saying I'm lonely and expect connection. The language of expectation is the language of alignment. When you speak what you expect, your actions begin to follow suit. You start to notice opportunities you couldn't see before because your denial Words have trained your eyes to look in a new direction, right? Speaking expectation requires discipline because it goes against the emotional current. It's easy to talk about what's wrong. It's easy to repeat what you feel. But real growth begins when you decide to speak from belief instead of from emotion. Your emotions tell the story of now. Your expectations tell the story of next. You might feel tired, but you can still say, I'm getting stronger. You might be in debt, but you can still say, money is finding its way to me. The words don't just change how you sound. They change how you see. And how you see affects what you do. When your language starts matching your vision instead of your situation, you begin to shift your energy from survival to creation. You start to live like the future you desire is already on its way. Every successful person you've ever seen mastered this law, whether they realized it or not. They didn't just talk about their struggles. They spoke their solutions. They didn't just acknowledge obstacles. They declared outcomes. When you say something often enough, your brain starts to believe it, and once your brain believes it, your body begins to act on it. That's why it's crucial to choose your words carefully, especially in the moments when you feel least powerful. Those are the moments when what you say has the greatest influence on your direction. You can either repeat the cycle of complaining, or you can replace it with a cycle of commanding. When you speak expectation, you command life to move in your favor, right? The most powerful people are not those who have everything figured right. They're the ones who speak like they do. They understand that the words you use in private conversations are just as important as the ones you use in public declarations. You can't speak power on stage and speak doubt in silence. You can't say, I believe in my dream while whispering, maybe it's not for me. Your private vocabulary determines your public. Every word you speak behind closed doors is a rehearsal for the life you'll live in the open. So start practicing the language of expectation. Stop saying if and start saying when. Stop saying someday and start saying today. The power is in the precision of your words. Your mouth is a mirror reflecting your mindset. And if you want a different reflection, change what you say. When you speak expectation, you begin to live from your future instead of your past. You give your vision permission to influence your reality. Even when life looks the same, something inside you shifts because your words have rewritten the narrative. You start walking like it's already done, working like it's already achieved, believing like it's already happening. Your words become the bridge between where you are and where you're meant to be. They create momentum that feelings alone could never produce. When you stop describing your pain and start declaring your promise, you move from being a victim of circumstance to being the author of your own transformation. You stop waiting for life to bless you and start blessing your own life with the words that come out of your mouth. Your mouth is the control center of your momentum. It's not your circumstances that set your speed in life. It's your speech. The direction and pace of your progress are determined by what consistently comes out of your mouth. Every time you speak, you're either pressing the gas pedal of your destiny or slamming on the brakes. The reason some people move faster toward their dreams while others stay stuck isn't because one group is more talented. It's because one group speaks momentum and the other speaks maintenance. When you speak doubt, fear, and limitation, you create resistance. When you speak belief, progress, and confidence, you create flow. Momentum doesn't just happen. It's spoken into existence. You don't need a perfect plan to move forward. You need a powerful mouth that refuses to repeat defeat. Your words are the rhythm your life moves to. When you say, I can, your body starts searching for ways to prove you right. When you say, I can't, your mind shuts down and stops trying. Your speech sets the tone for your energy, your focus, and your drive. Think about how you feel when you say something empowering, like, I'm built for this. It changes your posture, your mindset, and your confidence instantly. That's not magic. It's momentum. Your language creates an emotional velocity that propels you toward action. Every powerful movement begins with powerful words. Before people build businesses, they say, I'm going to. Before people transform their health, they say, I will. Will. Before anyone changes their life, they start by changing their speech. Your mouth sets your motion long before your feet ever move, right? The problem is most people speak from memory, not vision. They let their past vocabulary dictate their present velocity. They say, it never works for me, and they wonder why they're stuck. They say, I've tried before, and they relive failure instead of creating forward force. Momentum is built by what you repeat. Every time you say something, it becomes easier to believe. Every time you believe it, it becomes easier to act, and every action compounds into momentum. The question is, what are you rehearsing with your words? Are you rehearsing your reasons or your results? Because whatever you rehearse repeatedly becomes reality. If your mouth keeps echoing the language of limitation, your life will keep moving at the speed of hesitation. But if you begin to speak movement, speak possibility, speak persistence, speak progress, you start generating momentum that even obstacles can't stop. Momentum doesn't care about conditions. It responds to consistency. You don't have to feel motivated to keep moving. You just have to keep speaking movement until your motivation catches up. When you keep saying, I'm not stopping, I'm getting closer, I'm learning, I'm growing, you create an environment of acceleration. Your words become the fuel that keeps you going when your emotions fade. That's why the most successful people guard their mouths when they're tired, frustrated, or discouraged. They understand that one wrong sentence can slow down weeks of progress. They don't speak based on the weather of their feelings. They speak based on the climate of their vision. Your momentum lives or dies in the words you speak when life tests you the most. You can't afford to use your mouth as an outlet for complaint. It has to remain an instrument of command. When you use your words intentionally, they begin to carry a rhythm that the world starts to respond to. You attract what aligns with your declarations. If you say, I'm building something great, opportunities start appearing because your energy and actions begin to align with that statement. When you say, I'm tired of trying, everything in you slows down to match that energy. Momentum is not just about motion, it's about mental speed. The faster you can shift your language from problem to possibility, the faster you move from frustration to flow. Your mouth sets your momentum by determining how quickly you recover from setbacks. The difference between quitting and continuing is often just a sentence. When you say, this is too hard, you stop. When you say, this is hard, but I'm built for it, you keep going. That one-word shift changes your entire pace. Your words also create emotional gravity. When you speak with confidence, people are drawn to you and momentum multiplies because others start aligning with your energy. Leaders who speak with conviction move people because their words carry forward motion. They don't talk about what can't be done. They talk about what will be done. They create movement with language long before results show up. Every revolution, every breakthrough, every major transformation in history started with someone who dared to speak forward when everyone else was silent. Your words are not small. They're seeds of motion. Every time you speak faith, action follows. Every time you speak fear, stagnation settles. You can't attract acceleration with hesitation. Your mouth must move faster than your doubts. Momentum also thrives on repetition. You can't just say something once and expect it to change everything. You have to say it until you see it. Keep repeating your vision until it becomes normal in your vocabulary. When it becomes normal in your vocabulary, it becomes natural in your behavior. The words you speak over and over again begin to rewrite your belief system. And when your belief system changes, your performance follows. The greatest athletes, entrepreneurs, and creators all use affirmations not because it's trendy, but because it trains the mind to move before the body hesitates. Your words are the first reps in the gym of success. The more you lift with your language, the stronger your results become, Knight. Even small words can create massive shifts. Saying I will instead of I'll try moves you from intention to action. Saying I'm becoming instead of I'm not there yet keeps your energy moving forward. Momentum builds in small sentences spoken consistently. You don't need to speak perfectly. You just need to speak persistently. Every word adds another push forward. Over time, those pushes become power. That's why it's so important to surround yourself with people who speak momentum too. If you're around voices that always talk problems, your progress will stall. But if you're around voices that speak purpose, your speed increases. Your mouth is not the only one creating your motion. The conversations you keep either accelerate you or anchor you. The law of spoken momentum is simple. Your mouth sets the motion, your motion sets the pattern, and your pattern sets the pace. When you choose to speak forward, your life follows forward. When you choose to speak stagnation, your life settles. Every great journey starts with a statement. Every powerful transformation begins with a phrase. You don't have to see the finish line to start speaking movement. You just have to open your mouth and point your words in the direction you want your life to go. The more you speak movement, the more you'll see motion. And the more you'll realize that your words were never just sounds, they were the spark that turned stillness into unstoppable speed.